last week at the Pro Roughstock Toledo Open. Montana's Danny Webb finds himself leading the way into the Wrangler Final Four round in bareback riding after an 84-point effort on Crooked Sky of Rafter 3 Rodeo. Bull rider John Young remains red hot as he captured an 83-point ride on Bollinger's Big John and has ridden 3 of his last 4 bulls. And in saddle bronc riding, Eric Wolford spurred his way to one of the best career bronc rides with an 85.5 on Rafter 3's Gunsmoke. But season leader J.J. Elsher is hot on his heels as J.J. looks for his 4th event title in a row. Can he do it? Find out next as the Toledo Open 2014 concludes with the Wrangler Final Four Showdown round. Welcome to the Huntington Event Center in downtown Toledo, Ohio, on the banks of the Maumee River. It's the heart of Great Lakes country. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Pro Roughstock. I'm Justin McKee. On behalf of Kelly Timberman and Cord McCoy, we would all like to say hello to our mommies at home. Since we're right here on the banks of the Maumee River, we thought we'd throw that in there. And so, at any rate, we want to congratulate you before we get started on that great race. The amazing race didn't end like we all hoped, but again, you gave us a lot to be proud of.
Well, it is amazing, and my mommy did a lot of training. That's why I tell people, they say, why'd you do that? I said, my mama did lots of whipping.
And that works. Correction works. Kids are screaming for structure, and I tell you what, speaking of structure, we've got some bareback riding, some bucking horses that's going to bring everything they've got.
Oh, my favorite thing to talk about is bareback riding. This, right now, the Final Four Showdown, the bareback riding, is probably one of the best events that we're going to see all year long. We have a horse that I've begged and pleaded from Sutton Pro Rodeo to bring out of the bronc riding, put in the bareback riding. That's Justin's Kitty. The bronc riders don't like this horse because he's out of line. She's out of line, hard to ride. Put her in their matchup with Cimarron Gerke. Going to be an outstanding event right there. But the best horse, the pin, Time Rental. I mean, that's the one to have right there.
Well, Time Renner is matched up with Jared Keelan,
Absolutely.
and I'm a Jared Keelan fan. I mean, I know his story, so, I got to root him on. This week, actually, he could be the first rookie to win back-to-back titles at the PRS series, so I'm pumped to watch the ride.
But he's got to win this one right now. Let's get to the bucking shoots. Cimarron Gerke, the number 4 rider so far this season, has got that horse you were talking about. Justin's Kitty from Sutton Rodeo Company. They put the horse into bareback riding. Now let's see what she's got. And it's a lot.
Woo! Go on, Cimarron. You know, that's what we said about the horse that's got difficulty. There's a lot of points in that for the Cowboy. If he sits up there and makes a solid ride, that's going to be a big score.
Look at this. Duck and dive, slice and dice, and jumped and kicked the whole time. And Cimarron's left foot dropped once, but the rest of the time he looked pretty good.
Oh, you know, that horse there's hard to track. With all that movement in the front end, it's really hard to keep consistent with your legs.
How about that?
But the difficulty's there, and he got a good score because of it.
That's a big score, 86, and he'll total 166, and he's looking good. Now, Jared Keelan, the winner last week, can the rookie win 2 events in a row? He's from Uniontown, Kansas, and he got that other horse you featured, Time Rental from Sutton Rodeo.
I love this horse. Sets up and bucks, and God, he gets a good start. He's hitting that horse high in the main line, that exposure point set up. Woo! That's a bareback ride.
This is going to be huge. That was a perfect bucking horse and a perfect ride. I don't know how it could get any better. The judges are going to love this.
Horse has got some movement in the front end, back and forth, kicks really hard over his head. Jared's right in time, you know, in contact the horse's shoulder before the feet hit the ground. At the same time, going exposure up high in the neck. 90 and a half. Woohoo!
Birds of flying,
yeah.
And smiles are all over the place. This place is going crazy for Jared Keelan. Next up is Tanner Bergener out of Wyoming on Shayna's Delight for Painted Pony. And the last time we saw this horse, it was Justin McDaniels at the World Finals.
This is one of the rankest trips I've seen. Justin right here had to pull out some old bull riding moves just to get that horse covered.
Oh boy, I love this horse as well. Opportunity for young Tanner Bergener. And she's a little longer here.
Yeah, you know, this horse has got about 3 trips. She'll either circle around to the left She'll come around, kind of circle, do an S, come to the right, and then right here does the straight down the pin. And this is where she really takes control and yanks on a poor bareback rider.
Kelly, I think I've seen 2 of those trips, and I haven't seen any of them enjoyable yet. It makes me nervous.
That's a big bucking horse right
and
there.
And a long jump. Well, when she takes a jump, she covers about 30 feet.
Yeah.
80 hard-earned points for Tanner, 163. He's in third. As we go to Danny Webb, our final of the 4. He's from Montana on Real McCoy from Sutton Rodeo Company.
We had this horse in the Final 4 at our finals last year. This is a really strong horse. Comes around to the right. Got a lot of drop. Kind of reminds me of the old Sippin' Velvet. And whoo! Hit him right in the head, I think, there. Knocked him out.
Man,
hit him with his rump.
Danny Webb. It's a wonder that doesn't happen more often. He's trying to wake up. They're trying to keep the horse off of him, and they do. Danny Webb had that huge 84 on last week's show, and man, did he look good for the first half of this ride.
Look at that. Yeah, just right there about the second jump, just right here, really whips his in the head and just kind of behind, and then just gets it, boy.
You know, it's just a wonder with the whiplash back on the rump of that horse doesn't knock more guys out than what we've seen. And surely that was the cause of the buck-off, because he was in total control.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, sometimes that's that front end motion going down and it leaves you hanging right there. And that's happened to a lot of guys and actually ended some careers.
So the champion for the second week in a row, no rookie has ever done it. Jared Keelan has done it. 171 on 2, and he finishes off with one of the biggest rides in pro rough stock history today, 90.5 on Sutton's time rental. Let's hear from Jared.
You know, I didn't know a lot about that horse. I just heard a little bit about it right before I got on it. Said she was supposed to turn back, and she kind of when she first ducked there, I thought, here it comes, and then she never did, and just become outstanding, you know, and was one of the probably top 5 best horses I've ever been on in my life. I mean, she was pretty phenomenal. Just felt really good, and everything just seemed to come together, and I thank God for it.
Well, Jared's score officially now the 3rd highest bareback ride in pro rough stock history. Congratulations once again, Jared. Coming up, bull riding, a championship field awaits top bulls from Hat Creek Rodeo, and Council Bluffs champion John Young is poised to move into the top 3 for the season standings. Welcome back to the Huntington Event Center and the Pro Rough Stock Toledo Open. It's time for our Wrangler Final 4 showdown round in bull riding. Cord, let's take a look at the matchups.
We got to look at John Young. He's got a bull called Easy Does It, but there's not going to be any Easy Does It's for these 4 guys. It is the rank pin, or the eliminator pin, you might call it in bull riding. These bulls are going to be out to knock them down.
Well, let's get right to it, and Dave Samsel's going to start us off. Dave, the 43-year-old guy who's climbed to number 3 in the point standings, he's thinking about moving to number 1 with the top guy for this year, John Jacobs, out with that shoulder injury. Dave Samsel, in trouble. Reach down with that free hand. 2.9. Oh, and a bull that he could have easily gotten, as you can see.
That's going to be a long drive home from Toledo, Ohio, because, you know, he's got a good score coming. He just kind of reached down just a little bit early there, and the judges are sharp. They caught it.
Yeah, but that bull had an itch.
Maybe that was it. He was just scratching because it was way too early to think. No, he was just that far out of shape. I didn't see it until slow motion.
The thing about it was, though, I think if Dave sees this telecast, he probably thought he could have fixed it without reaching down. But, you know, that's one of those instances you move it. Yeah, always 20/20.
Bump, postal weight will go next, and Bump is the 12-time IFR qualifier, the steer wrestler. He is on that bull, escaped convict from Hat Creek Rodeo. Talk about a full gorilla slam. Did you see what that bull did to Bump?
That's a bucker right there, and you talk about in the gate there.
That's how I land, too, just like a turtle, right on my back.
Right
every
there,
ounce of air out of you.
like a sack of rocks. Oh, a bad way to burp the bull rider. 1.9, not very long. All right, looking for our first score. Let's see if Shane Rickley can do it out of Amanda, Ohio. Here's the 2011 IPRA World Champion, and he is on bottoms up from Hat Creek Rodeo Company. Needs an 83.5 to take the lead on. Oh, he's not going to do it.
One of those old smart bulls. You see that bull, You take an 1,800-pound animal that can feel a fly on his back. That bull is just positioning him where he wants to. You see the bull just kind of ease out there, want to get him set back on his pockets. All of a sudden, bam, here comes a quick right turn.
That's a full flip off the back door right there, 3.9, with 1 man to go.
When the bull gets to decide, there's never really a good way to land.
That's true. John Young on Easy Does It from Hat Creek. John Young, the Iowa cowboy, who has really been gaining some momentum. He won in his home state there at Council Bluffs. And oh, wow, another buck off. So we'll have to go back to the long round. And John Young was the only man to have a qualified ride in the long round. That 83 from the first round, remember, he had ridden 3 out of his last 4. And he's going to buck off here. And that's a pretty handy buck off.
Well, he's still going to win the championship, but bull riding is still dangerous sport. There, you want to stay on top every time, but this is the one time he's going to win with a 3.7.
Well, and you ride one bull, you win all the money too, don't you?
Well, it pays.
Well, yeah,
that's a money-making deal.
Big payday for John Young. He's going to be the champion, and not the dramatic ending that we had hoped for, but
check cashes the same way.
It does for him, and it also increases his standings for the season as well. Let's get a word from the champion, John Young.
Yeah, I mean, even though you got a 1, there's no pressure, but it's still, every bull I get on, I want to ride and I want to win. So the pressure wasn't there, and I knew that, it's easy to ride him that way because you don't have no pressure. Just things didn't go my way in the short round. He fought the chutes, so that was kind of not that much fun, and then I should have repulled, and I didn't, and that was my mistake, but he bucked. I mean, that's the bottom line is he bucked me off, and maybe next time I'll get him, hopefully.
I'd bet on John Young on that next time. When we come back, the Final 4 saddle bronc riding competition from here in Toledo. J.J. Elsher goes for his 4th straight saddle bronc title, but he'll have to get past Eric the Red Hot Wolford to do it. Welcome back to the 2014 Toledo Open here in Ohio. We have had a wonderful sponsor while we've been here in Toledo, Charlie's Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. It's the 2nd year they've been on board with Pro Rustock, and we appreciate them hosting the riders and the PRS staff at their location in Maumee, Ohio. There were autographs, giveaways, and Big C's smoked barbecue. A great big thank you to Charlie's Dodge in Maumee.
This is Big C Smoked Barbecue. Welcome to the PRS in Toledo, Ohio, here at Charlie Dodge in Maumee.
Time now for our Wrangler Final 4 showdown round in saddle bronc riding. Kelly, let's take a look at the matchups.
In rough stock, everything is about the animals. We got 2 horses in here that are stud horses. We got the famous Chuckulator, the cowboy horse, big, gnarly, rank, and hard to ride. Then we got Universal Media, Mama Don't Know. We got him here in the bronc riding. He's never been ridden in the bronc riding, but the pick of the pin, Mr. Consistency, J.J. Elsher on prom night. This is a horse that all the bareback riders and bronc riders fight over to have him in their draw. In my opinion, the best horse in the pen, the rankest horse in the pen, and the most electrifying horse to have today.
Wow, that is saying a lot considering who's in there. Let's go to the first one. It's Will Schaefer out of Lisco, Nebraska. And this is the only horse you did not talk about, Surprise Party from Sutton Rodeo Company.
Yeah, little Will, this horse he's seen a few times. This is a really solid horse to have in this ranked pen of horses.
Okay, this deal is already started. We're halfway there, and he's a little bit behind there, Kelly.
Yeah, I think he's having problems with his rein on this one. He fixed his stirrups. I did talk to him on the last ride he had. His stirrups were a little bit too long. So he shortened them up here, but you can see, look, he's got a little bit too much rein, and that's a really great horse. That's another horse those bareback riders fight over also. Should have made a little bit better.
If you're not confident in your equipment, you're not confident in your ride, right, Cord?
Well, it's a lot timing, and it's all about bronc riding is timing. And when he got out of time, it was almost a fight trying to get back into time.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say the lack of confidence may have caused that lack of time?
Oh, you can tell. When the guys crawl in there and nod their head and have the confidence, it always helps.
Jesse Williams of Paso Robles, California, is on Universal Media, Mama Don't Know. And my goodness, that is a strong horse. Look at that horse walk on his front end.
He had those 2 really big jumps out of there. And, part of it, I think right after this, great jumps right there. But I think here, the horse is a little bit lost, and it looks like he's kind of might be a little bit overflanked, a little bit too much flank in that horse. Makes it hard for him to really kick hard.
Maybe the horse hadn't had somebody ride him that far either. You don't know what it was, but timing was gone.
Something, Kelly, with that flank. Looked like it to me, 157.5 on 2 rides, and that leaves the door open for Eric Wolford and J.J. Elsher. On Chuckulator, Eric Wolford on a dream ride here. This is a former world champion bucking horse.
Eric's been on this horse before, had him at the bucking ball in Gillette. Kind of started the same way, a little bit behind. That's what we say, that's a Cowboys horse. That horse leaves hard, bucks hard, and he does not like people. Woo!
Wow, big jump out of there, and what a recovery. His feet's behind him, his body's all the way forward, but boy, Eric Wolford just always finds a way to get the job done. When you think that he is gone, he's not. He's still riding.
You know, that's a 24-point horse right there. Now, in the PRS, we don't have a markout rule, but if you don't start your animal, you're going to get deducted. But he deserves a score.
It's an 83. He'll total 168.5 on 2 rides, and here's J.J. Elsher trying to win his 4th event in a row. Can he do it on prom nights from Sutton Rodeo Company?
I love this horse. This is a great bareback horse and just as good or maybe better in the bronc riding. Look at how high and how hard that horse is kicking across there. And JJ's in time in front of that horse's front feet before he hits the ground.
A lot of moving around right there.
That was a bronc
but he
ride.
never missed a beat. That horse had it all. You talk about a horse that had the snap, crackle, the pop, the kick. Now watch the moves on the front end. Look at that horse shake his head, and you can't see the lateral moves left or right. We could on that other angle. And J.J. Elsher, that spur stroke with long and in charge the whole time. He hobbles away, but this will help heal him up. This guy continues to put together monster scores. 91 points, and he has done it.
Oh, you know one thing about that? If you think it looks good on TV, you ought to see it in live. Wow, that's amazing.
How about JJ? He picks up win number 4. He is dominating the season this year. Let's hear from the man.
That prom night, that was a Sutton horse. Usually had her in a bareback riding, and he said he's tried her a couple times in the Broncs, and she's been really good. Bareback riders will get along really good with her, and she really fired out of there, and she picked me up and helped me along, and when we got to the fence, it started feeling a little empty, and things started feeling a little more loose, but she stayed underneath me long enough. I was very fortunate to draw good at these, and 4 is a good number, I guess. Maybe we can do 5 sometime.
It's a very Billy Etbauer sounding interview, talking about how the horse just picked him up and not giving any credit to himself. We all saw otherwise. So congratulations to JJ. That is win number 4 in a row. And when you total up all his event wins in his career in the PRS, 11. More to come from here in Toledo. We'll update our season leaders and visit the grand opening of the country's National Museum of the Great Lakes here in Toledo when we come back. Back now in Toledo, Ohio. Hey, here's the reminder for our upcoming 2014 PRS World Finals in Rapid City, South Dakota at the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center, November 14th and 15th. Tickets are on sale right now. For information on how you can get your hands on some or any of the other upcoming events for this year, go to ProRoughstock.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While we were in Toledo, we had a chance to see the grand opening of the brand new National Museum of the Great Lakes. The museum houses hands-on exhibits and artifacts that tell the story of how the Great Lakes impacted the growth of the United States economy from the industrial age until today. The centerpiece of the National Museum is a retired Great Lakes freighter which has found its home on the banks of the Maumee River next to the museum. For more information on this brand new National Museum, go to inlandseas.com. Now let's check out our updated season standings after our event here in Toledo in bareback riding, Kelly.
There hasn't been any change in the leaderboard, but the big news is Jared Keelon jumped from 9th position all the way up to 5th. He's got a strong run coming into our finals.
In bull riding, Cord, let's look at the season standings.
Well, John Jacobs is still out with a shoulder injury, but holding down that first place. We got some movement down there. John Young moves to 3rd place. and starting to see that chance at a gold buckle.
John Young is the man on the move there, but in saddle bronc riding, Jess Williams moves up one notch.
Jess moves up a little bit, but it's still the J.J. Elsher show. Won 4 in a row and is about a little over 3,000 points ahead of the rest of the field.
Our Kershaw cutting-edge performance highlight of the night is...
Well, I got to go with Jared Keelan. I told you earlier I'm a fan, so I love to watch him win. To make a 90.5 points bareback ride here, that's definitely cutting-edge performance for me.
Absolutely. There's nothing like the best ride, and there's nothing like a Kershaw. And our John Deere Big Buck of the Night, which goes to the top-performing animal.
My John Deere Big Buck of the Night goes to Prom Night of Sutton Pro Rodeo. Gave J.J. Elsher a ride for 91 points. That is the 3rd highest marked ride in PRS saddle bronc riding.
That was our Big Buck of the Night, sponsored by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Next week, we head to the Pacific Northwest and beautiful Everett, Washington for the 2014 Cascade Challenge. For now, I'm Justin McKee along with Cord McCoy and Kelly Timmerman. See you next week in Everett.